What is up, people? Hello and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Cup Chasers podcast. Of course, thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. It's been an interesting weekend in the Premier League. Some crazy games, some not so great games, and then there was the big one that's, well, perhaps underwhelmed a little bit. But I personally thought it was quite the tactical battle. I'm sure that Lewis will agree, and of course, we will get into it. But of course, we have to speak on Pochettino as well, and the Chelsea Blues doing yet another £1 billion bottle job. And we'll discuss Liverpool, of course, as well. Plenty to get to on match week 30. And of course, match week 31 begins tomorrow. So we'll try to get to that as well. But right out the rip, let's get the likes up on the video. Of course, subscribe if you're new. I'll thank you again for being here. And if you're enjoying all the content, get the notification bell on. All right, of course, as Lewis exits and returns, we will start at the Etihad. Lewis, you're the home team, Man City. What are you saying? Is it drop points or is it a good point in the end?
Well, all points are good points if you can get them, right? I mean, if you're
Fair enough.
using a holistic approach. I mean, I've seen some commentary that the draw felt like a loss, so may have been better to lose the game than to have drawn it for the feelings to match. And in my opinion, that's sort of a knee-jerk reaction to it. The game was the game. I mean, I thought City played well enough. I mean, they had the ball the whole game, and they moved well. Arsenal had several opportunities. I mean, I'm not laughing at Jesus, but Jesus literally was Jesus that we knew. I mean, he was literally the guy. But then, to make life equal, Doku decided to be Jesus too, and be the same kind of guy, which was disappointing. But at the end of the day, if you're gonna say to me, would you have preferred to lost than to draw? Then my answer would be, of course, I would have preferred to draw. I mean, their form versus the top six is noted that it's all draws with the exception of a loss at the Emirates and a loss at Villa Park. So it is what it is. I think, were they bad? No, I don't think they were bad, but there are several players where you have to. I mean, and I mentioned this to some of the supporters I was talking to. I'm like, they're in an unprecedented place where you have guys who want it, right? They want it, but see, wanting it is different, because if you just assume every time that you're just going to keep coming back, then at some point in time, you have to understand that that's probably you're depending on other people to do your work. So it was their job to do the work that day, and they got points. I mean, there are 9 games left, and maybe something happens, but I look at it this way: is the same way I did last year. You got to play the games. You don't play them on paper. Liverpool is in the driver's seat right now, if we're talking title wise, for the game. I can give my criticisms for others, but I'll give my praises. It was disappointing to see Ake go off. Hopefully he's good to come back soon. I appreciated Rico Lewis coming in. He played really well in replacing and filling in back there. I thought he played well. Bernardo played really well. Gavardiol played very well, very well. I was pleased with him. Rodri did what Rodri does, and I think that's probably where my compliments will end. The other players were players. I mean, there were missed passes and missed opportunities, but what can you say? Like, I mean, there was, I don't, were there any shots on target? I don't even, maybe one.
You had
I don't
one.
know. It
You
was
had
one,
one.
and you had the ball with 70% of the time. I just, that it means nothing to me. Um, uh, I give Arsenal fair play. They played well enough. And I don't know if that's what their game plan was, but they played well enough to show that they belong there. And I give them all credit. I've never sort of taken away from an opponent. I think opponents are who they are when you meet them, not their history. And credit to them to get their point. They are controlling their own destiny the same as everyone else is. So you just really got to hope that the three teams that we text, I can't remember the three teams, Jake, but you know the three teams. If hopefully one of those three teams take one from somebody above you, and you win the game that you're and you win the rest of yours, and then you go from there. But
Wolves, Villa, Spurs.
there you go. And so I mean, I'll be like this. I enjoyed it. I mean, I thought it was exciting because there was action. There was no goals, and so it's funny because you have action and no goals, but then you have a bunch of goals and a lot of action, and then you look at the two games and you say the one with the goals is better. And I don't know. I mean, everyone says it's a snooze fest. I enjoyed the game. I mean, was it the best game? No, but that's the result. I can't go back and change history. I can't go back and change tactics. Yeah, man. I think uh, the result was the result. I made a comment yesterday to you guys. I said, the referee let him play. That was my sarcasm as the referee didn't call nothing. He didn't call nothing. He didn't call anything. And I mean, I can get you. If people say, well, City didn't get called for fouls, they didn't. There were fouls that they didn't call for. But I'm talking about on both sides, because there were fouls on both sides that just were not called. And the dude was like, "Hey, man, whatever." And I'm like, you know what? If that's the mentality, at least he's letting both sides do it.
Did he do the first?
I thought he favored City a little bit.
Well, sir, how many yellow cards should Arsenal have had in the first half? Because I promise you, they should have had at least one.
Everyone should have had cards in the first half, but I also thought that anytime Haaland got pushed down, he called it a foul. But if Havertz got pushed down, it was never a foul.
Well, but that's, I would say,
for the same thing, going up for the header, challenging for the header, and someone's in his back, because Ruben Diaz has never pushed anyone in their back in his entire career.
In the same breath, we can watch fouls or physical alt actions that may or may not have been fouls, where Haaland was knocked on the ground and they just let it play. So I'm not gonna nitpick those things. I just think he let him play, and I just left it where it was. I didn't complain, because I'm like, hey, City was fouling him, because I'm calling it. I call a spade a spade. City was fouling Arsenal players. He didn't call nothing. Arsenal players were fouling City players. He didn't call it. So I'm like, you know what? At that point, he's letting them play. And
it didn't affect the game.
No, it didn't. So at that point, that's why I said what I said. I mean, he let him play. I mean, because nothing he called changed like anything in the result. So he was a non-factor. So he just let him play, And so I'm not going to cry and say, I think Akanji said something, and I'm not sort of dumping on him, but he's like, I can't remember when they do this. Hey, dude, put the ball in the net. I'm not trying to hear nothing else. I'm serious. I'm not trying to hear nothing else. And so, it's none of the fouls that anyone was looking to get called would have created a goal. But we can't talk about misses. We can talk about misses. Jesus had two clear shots where at least get it on frame, right? Haaland is next to Raya and just completely whiffs.
Are you? I know you've said, and you mentioned in the chat that you've been on it. You've been on about Haaland for weeks now, and we keep expecting him to come back and start dumping him in. Are you concerned at all that he hasn't begun doing that, and not necessarily like super often, but a little bit more and a little bit more often, we're seeing him with these whiffs, with these point blank off the bars, things that are unexpected for Haaland are kind of creeping into his game a little bit. Does this worry you for the run in at all?
Well,
or for the Champions League?
I'm gonna put it like this: the league is a different tell than the Champions League, because the Champions League is a tournament where you don't see the opponents regularly, and it's a little different. I would say that, is it concerning? Well, if your goal scorer doesn't score, yes, it's concerning. But then we look at it, and but the big thing is, last year we talked about this and we said, well, we don't want to become dependent on one player. And so this year, with his injuries and just his sort of inconsistency, more people have scored. So with that, you look at that and you say, well, okay, well, there's more balanced scoring this year, which is generally true because Foden has stepped up, Alvarez has played better, etc. But at the same time, what is required is that the evolution of his game has to show too, because the defenders are changing the way they defend him. So even though, and you made a point, you was like, hey, did you say Saliba or Gabriel? I can't remember which one you said. Somebody pocketed him, right? And somebody said that. And so my
Well, no,
response,
I said in the build up before the game, I said that next week they're going to find Holland in Saliba's pocket, but I
oh,
thought that Gabriel was just as good.
well, and so I look at that and I say, the thing about it is that, well, if he was in their pocket, then he's in everybody else's pocket that he didn't do anything against, because it's the same thing. Like
Yeah,
the defenders
yeah.
are just being physical with them. They were physical last year, so either there's this mentality that when you're good, you just do the same thing to get yourself over it. But this is where, as an athlete and as an evolved being, you recognize doing the same thing and you're not getting the results you want means you have to do something different. And so if you've seen him, and I've given him credit where he's evolved a little bit, where he comes back, he does more hold up play than he did before. But you look at it and you really, even though, I mean, I think it was sort of extreme where I think it was Roy Keane said he was a League Two player. He's not, obviously he's not a
Roy
League Two
Keane's
player,
crazy.
but
That's a
I mean,
crazy comment.
in the context he said it, I understood what he was saying, because the thing is that he's not evolved as a goal scorer. He's a goal scorer. As a footballer, which the criticism was why he didn't win the Ballon d'Or, he wasn't a better player than the others. He was a better goal scorer, but he wasn't a better player. And if that's the evaluation for this season, then it's true. But at the same time, there's this, I think some of the City players are out there with the expectation that this is our time. And they still, strangely enough, they're still on a run. They what is it, 18 unbeaten or something like that? They're still on a run, but now the
Yeah.
run doesn't feel good because you didn't get the result in the thing. And that's where you got to stop being that, hey, well, we expect to win or they're coming to our house. Shut up, play the game. You got one game here and go from there. That's all you can do.
I tend to
No,
agree
and
that
that's what I said. And
I tend to agree with you,
said,
VTEX, that yeah,
that's what he said.
that it's a fair point that all around play is not as great as it maybe could be. Yes, he's definitely a tank. SpongeBob is harsh, VTEX, but I think that the point is that City don't need Haaland to be a total footballer. They don't need Haaland to be Leo Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo. They don't need him to be Kylian Mbappe. They need him to dump the balls in the back of the net. They need him to not whiff 4 yards from goal right next to the goalkeeper. They need him to not hit it off the post, from a header in point blank range. That's what they need Haaland to do. And criticizing Haaland for not being able to do a crossover, jump on the ball, Maradona rainbow over somebody and dribble 8 guys and tap one in. That's not Haaland. So why are we criticizing him for not doing that?
But I don't think that's while I agree with your point, I also don't feel that's the criticism. I think the criticism is that as an evolved player, he has to add some things, because the way he was scoring last year, the defenders are too good to just let him do that again. And so, okay, and if your locker is just what you had, physicality, speed, and banging goals in, but now that's not working, you need to have more in your locker. Because if you're in your locker and your underarm stinks, but you only have foot spray, are you going to spray foot spray or on your underarm? Or are you going to just try to find the deodorant to help you go forward? You have to find the tools to go forward. So no one's asking him to do those things, but he has to find a new way, because, okay, if you're not scoring goals, are you facilitating goals? Because at some point, the goals got to come from somewhere. And you're looking at it but again, I look at it, I'm not gonna knock him, but I have been, and it's not even been critical. I've brought up the point that he's been super inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a huge issue, because if your job is to score and the way you were scoring last year is not working this year, that means that either you don't have it in your locker or you haven't gone to get it, and you need to evolve. Because I promise you, I'm gonna put it like this, and someone made an evaluation which I'm inclined to agree with. I don't know if Patrick said it, but I saw somewhere else too. Alvarez would have actually been more influential in this game than Haaland would have been.
I think he's he's a better footballer overall. Absolutely. I think I might agree with that.
But it's the style of play.
Yeah.
Because then he would have been everywhere. Holland doesn't play across the front
But
line.
see, I think that would have clogged your midfield because you had Silva, Foden, De Bruyne all trying to be in that same space, and we were clogging up that midfield anyway.
I would agree, but the thing is that Alvarez can play a true 9, so it's not like he can't play there.
That's
And the
fair.
dropping in,
He
we're
can do
looking at
both.
it. So, for example, if Alvarez is there, if he drops in, and Foden is still on the field, where does Foden go? Foden goes to replace him because he knows how to play the false 9, and it replaces that. Holland doesn't do that. And so there's the criticism that Holland doesn't fit City's scheme. Well, I mean, it kind of is what it is. I mean, if you're a footballer, you figure out how to score goals, right? And so he did last year, and he has to, because this year it's not even about them not giving him the ball. Because remember last year the complaint was they didn't give him the ball.
They didn't give it to him, yeah.
They're finding him. And they're not finding everyone, but they're finding him. But he's not converting. And that's an issue now. And so to answer your question about, I compartmentalize it. For the league, it probably is concerning. For the Champions League, I'm going to say I'll wait and see because it depends on the opponents. Because the way
I'm talking about Real Madrid. I'm not talking about any opponents. I'm talking about Madrid. You have one game in front of you.
But it does matter, and this is why I'm saying.
Well, so that's what I'm saying. Then curtail your answer to Real Madrid.
Well, as I was going, the thing is that you look at Real Madrid is there, so that the expectation is Rudiger and who else?
It's
not Militao.
No, yeah, I know.
I think he's coming back though, or is he out for the season? Look. I'll look it up.
So my point is that who's the defender, right? And the way the Premier League defenders defend are different than a La Liga defender, right? And so we have to think, well, how does Holland answer to that? Because in Europe, his play is different. So that's why I'm saying it really depends on what we see there. And so, okay, we can say Real Madrid, but I mean, I don't know who he's going to be facing.
Nacho. It's somebody named Nacho. Who started yesterday. So it's Mendy, Nacho, Rudiger, and Carvajal. They started yesterday, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it just says Nacho. He doesn't even have a first name.
So
I know I've seen him, but
yeah, he's like their right back.
So I'd put it and say it depends on what he sees, because just again, the Premier League defenders defend differently. The style of game is very different. So I just think playing in Europe brings a different player for that. I mean, you've seen it, Jake, because that was your concern. Like when Arsenal was playing in Europe, you're like, well, why are we playing this way in Europe? And when we play in the league, is different. So this is why the evaluation of Holland is he plays differently in Europe, like most people do. So I don't know the answer to that, but if we're looking at overall, he's probably played better in Europe than he has in the league recently. So I'll leave that there. That's the most I can go on the evaluation.
Fair enough. Patrick, your adoring fans are clamoring for your opinion. What are you saying on Holland in the game as a whole?
I mean, I don't think a game is great by goals being scored. I think that's just the symptom of what could be potentially a good game. But I was not impressed, and I will say this. I think I fell prey, or whatever you want to call it, to the hype of this being like this is it. This is going to decide the league. And so you're expecting it to be a spectacle of sorts. You've got, De Bruyne and Rice, and you've got this, and you got, all these players. And it's like, okay, this is going to be incredible. And it just kind of fell flat. And I enjoy tactical matchups. I think the thing that really kind of bothered me was there were times where Arsenal was 10 behind the ball. And, I've grown to a custom of Arsenal, not playing that deep. And I thought, I understand the logic of, hey, get a result, you're good to go. But I also am of the logic of here's your chance to take the league, and you didn't go and take it. And so that's kind of where I fall on it. The whole thing with Holland.
Sorry.
Was my mic muted?
I did that on accident. I'm messing around. That's my fault. I'm messing around and did that on accident.
The whole thing on Holland, I consider it a sophomore
Oh
slump.
my goodness.
I mean, that's the best way to put it. You know, it's kind of like what I said to start the season. How do teams defend Bukayo Saka now? Because how do teams defend Bukayo Saka? Because he had so much freedom last year, and now teams know what he can do consistently. So what do you do to respond to that? And we saw that early on. You know, Saka had some troubles. Seems that he's worked through them, scoring goals again, being a big impact on the game. Throw in that, Holland, teams know, hey, you got to get physical with him. And the league is going to allow it. And I appreciate that, truthfully. You know, you can't let somebody be Thor and say, you know, this is a fair game. I mean, it's just not. I think that, you know, physical attributes, you know, make players better. But there also has to be some realism to it. You know, you can't let him just be pushing people down and, let skill actually determine, is he this great, you know, striker or not? And I kind of wanted to back up a little bit. You know, the thing about Holland when he got to City was he was just looking to bag goals. That's all he was doing. And Pep was trying to get him to come back, to have players play off of him. And it feels like that he still wants to have some of that in his game, but now they're asking him, hey, go bag goals. And so I think he's in between two minds a lot, because like the one that fell to him, I think he's looking to pass there and not shoot and score. You know, I think that's his mentality now. So what does Pep do to change that? You know, like, hey, we needed you to do it this year, but this year we just need you to go bag goals, man. If you got the keeper one-on-one, or you got a chance, you just smash it. Yeah. If you miss it, you miss it. But that's what we have you here for now.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought that this, I mean, as much as we've spoken about him already, I think he wasn't really much of an influence in this game. And I think that that's not necessarily his fault. I thought Big Willie Magalhaes, of course, both had good games, and either one, man of the match candidates, of course. But I also think, as good as they were, and of course they were both very good, they battled really well. I also think that others deserve, credit for this defensive performance. Now, I do want to start out my little bit by saying that I'm a little disappointed at this approach. I can't come on here and say with any fervor, oh yeah, we did it, woohoo! I'm so pumped. Look at what we did what was that? A month ago, 5 weeks ago, I went on a rant about Everton sitting back and doing this same thing.
Oh yeah.
At Manchester City, or was it Brentford? I can't remember who it was. But I was so upset.
Teams, actually.
I was so upset at this approach. Now, I think that I heard someone make a great point about, and I was kind of mulling it over as well before I heard it on YouTube. I can't remember where I heard it, but the reason I was so mad then at, say, Everton is because when Everton go to the Etihad, it's a write-off.
Yeah.
It's a free hit. Look, we're supposed to lose this game, but we're going to go out here and we're going to play it because this game isn't played on paper. And so in that situation, of course, I'm incensed when you don't go for it. When Sheffield doesn't go for it, because it's not like y'all are going to win the game anyway. You might as well try and go for it. Conversely, Arsenal have something to lose. We have a position to lose. It's not a free hit to go to the Etihad. It's not a foregone conclusion that we're just going to lose. It's very possible that we could get something from the game, and we did that. Now, Alex Ferguson, that's Sir Alex Ferguson, I should say, once said that defense wins championships, and he also said that if you win your home games and draw your away matches, should be just fine. Now, Arsenal have won both home to Man City and Liverpool, and we've drawn away to both Man City and Liverpool, the best in those three against those three. And so I can't, I'm a little disappointed that we didn't win, of course. I'm a little disappointed that even with the approach that we had, we still probably could and maybe should have won. Of course, City can say the same thing. They probably should and could have won. If, we were both teams a bit more clinical in front of the goal. But I think that tactically, this was an absolute chess match of a battle. And I think that in that first half, we definitely set up to stifle and to not concede in that first half. 100%. But also, I think that City were very, very good in the midfield. They battled very, very well. And I think the approach of the possession, the structure of the possession, and when I say that, I mean things like Akanji was pressed really, really far forward. He didn't invert, but he was pressing really far forward on the right. Thus, Jesus had to stay back, so far back, like left wing back status, Ben Chilwell status, like the whole game, to keep an eye on Akanji. And what that did is it took Jesus out of our press.
Yeah.
Jesus presses like a madman. He's a maniac but because he was on the left, that energy was gone completely from the press. That was one thing they did. Now, you notice that Kovacic was on the ball a ton, and Gvardiol was on the ball a ton, and we were okay with giving Ruben Diaz the ball and giving Ake the ball before he went off. But we wouldn't let Rodri get on the ball. We wouldn't let De Bruyne get on the ball. So we let Kovacic have the ball because we knew he wasn't going to hurt us. And it was really, really – it was a real ride in our luck kind of thing in that first half. Yes, we defended well. Yes, we blocked up the passing lanes, which was the idea, to keep it from Rodri and De Bruyne. And Foden, because we kept Foden, relatively quiet as well. But it cost us so much territory. Like we were bending and bending and bending and bending and bending. It cost us a lot of territory. And I don't like that. I don't like that at all. If you look at the field tilt in that first half, City were down our throats.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm always on about second balls. And here's why. This is the perfect example. We couldn't do anything in the first half because we couldn't win a second ball. It was infuriating. Absolutely infuriating that we could not win a second ball. I think Arteta expected us to win a couple more of the 50-50s and to thus have a little bit more possession. But we never could get any possession in the first half because we couldn't win the second ball. We just weren't doing it. And I was getting so mad. I was so frustrated. And so we just completely didn't do anything in that first half. Now, in the second half, it was clear that he pushed us farther forward. Odegaard was stepping farther forward, was turning on. You notice that sometimes Odegaard will kind of step back. He'll kind of be back. He'll kind of be in the passing lanes. We'll be watching the space in behind to make sure Rodri or De Bruyne doesn't come in there. We'll kind of be calm. But then he'll switch on, and he'll go at the ball. Madman. And we all push forward. We did that a lot more in the second half. And I thought that we won a couple more of the second balls in the second half, but City still battled really, really well in the middle of the park. And that's why I feel we weren't really able to create much. City's press, as far as off the ball, made us kick long balls all day. I hated that. The one time we were brave enough to play through the lines, we damn near scored. What was at the 87th minute when Trossard should have one timed it to Martinelli. We damn near got in on goal. The one time we play through the first line, Odegaard takes a touch to the side, plays through the defensive line, and we're behind their defense. The one time we were brave enough to try to do that, it looked good.
You should have capitalized. I mean, yeah, you just didn't eat your dinner, man. You should have capitalized on the 1-2 where Odie gets the rebound off the defender.
Yeah,
straight one. Oh my gosh, bro! We're talking.
There were a couple moments where we definitely could have scored. They should have scored.
I was about to say they did the same thing. They didn't eat their dinner either. Bernardo should have took that one in the 88th and the 89th one time. I know the angle's tight, but again, swing your boot at it. Take it one time. You're one-on-one with the keeper. Why are you going to try to cut that back to the PK line when you have you have a one-on-one opportunity there and he's staring you in the face? Just swing your foot at it. Yeah. At that moment in the game. It's late in the game. You're not going to get too many of those left. And it's the same with Trossard. It's just cut off his own angle and then.
No, Trossard definitely should have hit it first time.
Sure.
I love to go after Havertz. So I saw this clip. He's in the box. The ball falls to him. He's got a shot on goal, and he turns around and passes it out of the box.
Yeah, Havertz is Havertz, man, and as good as he's been and as improved as he's been, he's still got the bozo gene in him. Still got
he does
the propensity to do a madness. But I thought that Havertz, I definitely thought he threw his weight around. I thought he was challenging for the first ball well. His teammates just weren't helping him with winning the second ball, and so he was isolated. Because we never had possession, Right. And Odegaard talked about it in his post-match when I think it was for Sky Sports. He was saying that when you have to be switched on in the press and you run around for 5, 6, 7 straight minutes chasing City, and then all of a sudden it works and you've got the ball and you have to switch you have to transition into attack, heavy legs, tired minds after just being switched on for that long, back to back passes, running around back and forth, clogging spaces, making sure this guy's marked, making sure your teammates are doing this. And then when you get the ball, you have less than no time because City are just immediately in your face. Yeah, I think that City will be more disappointed. I think they should be more disappointed. It was the home game. The onus was on them to win. They're behind in the league, and so the point's better for Arsenal. But that's not to say that I thought City played bad. I thought that they battled really hard in the midfield. I'd probably tell you they won the midfield battle slightly, nullified us just as we nullified them. I thought they were great defensively and didn't allow us to literally do much at all, and two great teams canceled each other out, and I think that that's a better result for the Arsenal.
I mean, yeah, I would agree. You went on the road, you got a result. Yeah,
absolutely. But do you think, I've heard some people say, Lewis, that maybe Pep should have had a more attacking lineup, should have come with a more, maybe start Doku and put Foden in the middle?
No. Doku,
or start Grealish.
Again, I'm gonna go with a no on that too. I think the lineup was fine.
I guess you'd have to.
I look at it like this, right? Am I echoing?
No, not on mine.
I'm just echoing in my own head. Whatever. Don't worry about it. It's the voices, man.
Yep.
I think the lineup was fine. And here's why I think the lineup was fine. Because when I mentioned the lineup before when we did, was it Thursday? And I suggested the lineup is because they wanted what they got. They wanted control of the ball. That's literally what they had. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know what else you want other than the fact that they were given chances, and that some of them they didn't shoot, and others, just Arsenal was there. And when Grealish came on, I mean, I'm glad Grealish came on, but he wasn't fit to start. So why would you
Right.
start him?
Fair enough.
And Doku is insanely predictable, and not only is he predictable, but I mean, I joked about it because I think Jesus has a place. When he played at City, I made the comments that I thought he should have been playing on the wing instead of as a striker, but because his ability to facilitate is really good, and so I've always thought he was a better winger than like a goal scorer. But as far as passing the ball, but for that, Doku was literally Jesus 2.0, and like he looks really apprehensive at shooting, and then when he beats a guy, he doesn't seem to really know what he wants to do with the ball, and that matters. And so the big thing is that, and I'm being honest, I think Foden not being in the middle is a big deal, because he's the hottest guy we have right now, and you didn't let him do what he does. He doesn't do the same work on the wing as he does in the middle of the park. And so I think that does something different. Was there a need for Bernardo to be in the middle? Yeah, absolutely. But not in that moment. Kovacic was doing fine. And again, the tactics allowed for Kovacic to just do what he wanted. And he could have just kind of pinged wherever because he had space. But if Foden is sitting on the byline, I mean, what are we supposed on the touchline? What are we supposed to do with that? Because that's not where he wants to attack from. So I don't think that the starting lineup was fine. But I really think, and I know there's probably a clause in this contract, and you don't want to cause sort of an uproar if you have to choose between one or the other. But I think, being honest, taking Haaland off would have been a better call. And I agree with Patrick, what you put in the chat, where I wouldn't have put Doku on at all, and I would have taken Haaland off and put Alvarez in there for Haaland, and then I think I would have put Grealish on, only because then you can shift Bernardo to the center, and then Grealish could then you could have had Foden doing whatever he wanted around the top. So I look at that and say those are the subs I would have made. But I mean, even though, and it's a funny thing because we say, okay, Guardiola is super accomplished and he's won a lot of things, but he's also made mistakes. So there are moments where us innocent bystander guys who know a pinky's worth of football compared to this guy can say, hey, we think this would have worked. Do we know if it would work? No. But that, I mean, looking at what happened, something else probably could have got a result. But it is what it is.
Yeah. So what do we think this means going forward?
Pool has every opportunity now to keep their lead.
Well, can I get on the Liverpool thing? Because one of my buddies texted me about it. Because
they have an easy run in, bro. The next.
Well, first, I agree with you on paper. On paper, I agree with you, but you have to play the games. And so the thing about it is that Liverpool, like, for example, the game against Brighton, when we did the predictions, we didn't know what Brighton was going to show up. We had no idea what Brighton was going to show up. And we all know.
Well, hold on a second. Are we done with Man City Arsenal? Because we can just transition. We can just transition right into it.
Sounds like the transition since X set up the segue.
Boom. Segues are weird. There it is. Go on, Lewis. I just wanted to have my banner right on the bottom.
No, my thing is my thing, right? And so, like, for example, you said it in the chat when he scored, because I watched the Brighton game. You said Mo Salah is inevitable, and it's true. But at the same time, we look at, like, defensively, Liverpool they're good, but they're you can score on them. And because you can score on them, even though on paper it looks like they have an easier run-in, these teams are fighting relegation. They're trying to get money for Champions League spots and Europe spots. So I don't think anyone's and I just
Everton's a derby.
Nobody's laying down for them. Like, no one is going to lay down. So on paper, it looks like the Klopp retirement tour is in full swing. But we've seen there's been kinks along the way. And I just think there are enough teams that are, like, for example, I'm gonna use Spurs as an example. You never know what we're getting from Spurs, because they asked Ange Postecoglou something recently. They said, hey, United is only, I think he said 8 or 6 points away from you from a Europe spot. are you worried about them? And his response was brilliant. He said, well, we're 8 points away from the top 2. Are the teams at the top worried about us? I was like, you know what, my guy? Thank you. Because that you're pushing narratives, right? And so I think Spurs, even though we make fun of them, this new manager has a different resolve. He's not Pochettino, and I get that's not a segue, but he's not Pochettino. And so the thing is, I think he's won. He's won for real. He's had to win. He's worked through that. He's making them a better team. So, the jokes may still be there, but maybe less, right? And so you look at that and you say, well, the run-in looks easier, but last year run-in looked easy for everybody. All you had to do was just score one and just sit, right? But no one's going to do that. And so I think it's still 9 games. There's going to be a buildup. Spurs are obviously in play for the league for every team. And even though we make fun of them, they're not garbage. So it literally, imagine if every team lost to Spurs. Imagine all the top 3 lose to Spurs.
Points stay exactly where they are.
Don't even put that into the universe. That's disgusting.
Nobody wants to even consider that.
You can stop.
I hate being that guy. Hold on, because you said the points stay the same, but I have to do the math on that, right? Because that's 9 points for them. Am I not right? And you're telling me 9 points don't matter when I just said that they were 8 points back?
If that's the only game that y'all 3 lose, which I don't see Poole losing.
But it would still only be on 64 points. Give them 9 points, they'd still only be on 64, and that's the only game we drop.
But I mean,
if all of us drop that, they would still only tie Man City.
If City doesn't win any more games, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
But the thing is also saying you're assuming that they're not winning the rest of their games, so you're only giving them those 9 points and not the rest of the points because they're.
That also assumes that Arsenal, Liverpool, and City lose in all the rest of their games.
That's what I'm saying. Well, it's just that's the only one in question.
But I'm not assuming that. I'm just saying that the momentum of losing a game at this point in the season.
Oh yeah,
Jake,
that mental about
it. That's what I'm talking about. We're talking about the collateral damage from that because if we look at the fixtures, I know City plays Spurs last. So obviously if they lose their last game, that's huge, right? And I think Liverpool plays them 2 weeks before that or 2 games before that. Again, that's huge. That changes mentalities for everybody. So while you're looking at the simple math of that's 9 points for them, that's not just 9 points. It's not, because where you lose matters, because if you lose there, other teams are like, well, wait a minute. Well, if they just lost, could we? And then you don't know what that domino does. Jake has pointed this out many times. The mentality is super important. You know how fragile somebody could be at this moment if, say, you lose, say, either you get smashed by Spurs or you lose a heartbreaker to them. You don't think that affects the rest of your games?
Either way, it'll affect Arsenal. You bet your bottom dollar.
But that's my point. So I'm saying, say Spurs win all 3 of those games, right? They win all 3 of them, and then they win the rest of theirs. That's more than 9 points. You don't know what that does. So we have to account for it's on.
Okay, let's look at it.
It plays the role, right?
Yeah, so that would be 27 points for Spurs, which would make 83.
Right.
And yeah.
That's a big deal.
But if Liverpool, City, and Arsenal, it's those 9 points that would separate them if we all won all of our games. So each of us would drop a game and we would still be 6 points clear. That's Liverpool.
And then
if everyone won all their other games.
And then you have to think when they lose the game, right?
That's fair. It would be the penultimate game of the season, Pool play Spurs.
You don't think that matters? And so
yeah. That would be massive.
This is why yes, in the black and white, it's 9 points, but not in the big picture. Is it not 9 points? Yeah. Because also, and somebody said this, which I laughed at, and I mean I would love it, right? Somebody said they were making fun of the Arsenal City game, and they said, "Man, that was a snooze fest. Please don't let them play in the Champions League," which means the universe is going to totally make that happen.
Oh, I want another shot at you. Yeah, of course. I would much rather play City. I would much rather play City because we know City. We're familiar with the Etihad.
Familiar with City.
We don't know the Burnabeu. The Burnabeu will eat us up, eat us alive. But that's another whole other thing.
But for Liverpool, I think this obviously was a good result across the board for them. And the retirement tour said, hey, we're not calling fouls in other games, and if they don't score, so what, right?
Yeah.
And you just go from there. So you affect your goal difference and all that stuff. Good job.
I mean, they gained 1 goal difference.
A game.
This was a typical Liverpool game. Asleep for 10 minutes or so, give a goal 30 seconds in to a former Manchester United player. And then just decide, you know what? It's Anfield. We don't lose. And in the second half, they were far superior. Like as the game went on, Liverpool got better and better and better. And they were, in the end, I think they were much the better side by the end of the game, and definitely deserved to win. The goal that Salah scored, while Salah didn't have a great game, he did have an assist and the game winner. And the goal that they put together to score the winner was an absolute dirty team goal, just classy team goal, fantastic, quick, incisive passing, pass and move, get in behind the line. And as soon as the ball went through the line to Salah in the box, I was like, well, there it is. That's when I texted Salah's inevitable. It was like right after he scored. I was like, that's because he's never going to miss there, but again, it's one of those where it's these performances that have me believing Arsenal can overtake Poole. I don't think in 9 games, if they play like that in the next 9 games, they will drop points. Not all of them are at home. If they play like that at Villa and are not very clinical, because that's what happened to City and Arsenal. Villa rode their luck, got their goal. Arsenal, City weren't clinical, and Villa won. 1-0, both games. That could easily happen to Liverpool. Easy. And they have to go there. Everyone's writing off Fulham as an easy one. No, it ain't. It ain't an easy game. Both City and Liverpool have to play Fulham before the end of the season. Liverpool at Fulham, and Arsenal lost there. United lost there. How did Chelsea do? It wasn't great, if I recall.
Fulham, we won.
Did you beat Fulham?
Yeah, we
nice.
won 2-0.
There you go. Somebody beat Fulham, but I guess they get up against big teams. Sorry. That was mean. That was a cheap shot, and I apologize.
There's plenty of them to come.
Yeah, but I think that, and everyone's talking about, Liverpool's run-in is the easiest one. If you do those statistics, yes, Liverpool have the easiest run-in as far as table position of opponents, but it's by less than 1%. It's by less than 2%. So let's not get it twisted. This run-in is difficult for all 3 teams. It is. City have not scored a league goal at Spurs ever at that stadium. You've scored in the FA Cup to win the FA Cup. You've not scored a league goal at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and you have to go there before the end of the season. Arsenal also have to go there before the end of the season, having only just broken that hoodoo last season. That was our first win there last season. So it's not like we're just going to go in there and walk. It's not going to be it's not going to be easy. Arsenal have to play Old Trafford at the second to last game of the season. These run-ins are no joke. All 3 of them. So people saying, Cities are easy, Liverpool's is easy. Nope. It's all going to be tough, man. And like you say,
we have Chelsea at home.
I
know that sounds crazy, but we get up for big 6 sides.
Dude, the Chelsea game is crazy. The Chelsea game is crazy because as it stands right now, we play Chelsea, then it's my birthday, and then it's Spurs.
Yep.
And there's a day in between each one. But if Arsenal beat Bayern, that's a Champions League week. The Champions League semifinal will be that day, and it'll bump the Chelsea game again. And so that Chelsea game
could be one of the last games of
could be even deeper and could be one of the most pivotal games in Arsenal's run-in. And so I think it'd be advantage Liverpool if Arsenal plays City in the Champions League as well.
It's advantage
For
Liverpool
sure.
right now.
No, it is. But I'm just saying it'll be a good thing for them. If we have to go at it again in the Champions League.
I
But
said it last week. I thought with their win and y'all's loss coming, their win happening right before y'all's game, and then y'all both knew what you had to play for. I felt like a tie. I felt like a draw was the worst case scenario for both of you. I did. That's
how is a draw worse than a loss for both teams?
Because I'm saying from a neutral standpoint, a draw is the worst case scenario for both of you because City catch pool, you go up.
A loss is the worst case scenario for both teams.
I'm saying sure, but not. It puts one of you out and one of you in. Now both of you are theoretically, if Poole went out, which I wholeheartedly see them doing. It is the worst case scenario for you guys, both of you.
I guess. I think City's track record, even if they lose, it'll be really tough, but they would still be able to do it. I think that if Arsenal lose, we don't have the track record.
Mm.
That's why I'm slightly disagreeing with you that City can handle a loss. Arsenal, while statistically it wouldn't be as bad as City losing, mentally, like you say, Lewis, it could have been really bad. Now a 1-0, if City would have nicked that if Haaland would have scored or Bernardo would have scored in the 88th and Arsenal lose, I don't think it would have been that damaging mentally, especially not the way the 4-1 was. But it still wouldn't have been as good as a bit of a boost we've gotten from, here's the thing, because here's why I back Mikel Arteta and trust Mikel Arteta and I'm a fan at this point, because no, he's not getting better in leaps and bounds and, and each season he's making astronomical improvements, but he's doing better and better and better and better and better and better and better. 2 seasons ago, we'd never beaten Spurs at 3-point lane or at the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Box ticked.
3-point lane.
3 seasons ago, we wouldn't even begin to dare to dream of even a point at Anfield. We've taken 8 from 12 from Liverpool in 4 games in the league. We wouldn't have even dreamed last season. We dreamed it. We dreamed it last season. It was hopium that we could maybe play with City and go to the Etihad and play with them. We definitely dreamed it because we went up there and tried to play with them and got absolutely wrecked. But this season, once again, we've improved on that as well. Now, a lot of fans are like, oh, he's not improving quick enough. He's not going to win quick enough. But hey, man, he's getting better. He's slowly but surely improving on every record we have. Once again, we're breaking records for goal scoring this season. Broke records last season. He's getting better and better and better and better and better and better and better. And so I think that, I'm fully backing it. I believe we can win this title. It's there to win, man. I believe it is there to win for sure. I think Liverpool are going to drop points. Maybe it's the hopium talking. I think, I think that City might drop a couple more points as well. I'm not saying Arsenal are going to be perfect. There are points to be dropped. We have to go to the Amex as well. We still have to go play Brighton at their ground as well. That was a disaster class last season, if I recall. A 5-0, I do believe. So, I'm not saying we're going to be perfect, but I definitely think the draw was a better result, far better than some sort of, ridiculous loss as far as your point, X. But I think it's game on, man. I think that draw,
as well as I do, it's, maybe not for you guys, but when City gets on top, when Poole gets on top, they don't give that lead up. They know that's how you win this back half of the season is I'm on top today. You and the games are all even. and now all I have to do is win out.
Well,
Like
we're
I disagree with that. I disagree with that. I disagree with that because Liverpool have never been chased
yeah,
and won. They've
they
never
won
been
with
chased.
yeah.
They've never been chased and won. When they won by 17 points, and it was done not with 9 games to go, like by this time in the season.
Cool.
So yes, Liverpool have won the league with no one in the stadium, you know, with extenuating circumstances in a season where, if you recall, Man City players were out with COVID literally half the season. You know, so there was a lot of extenuating circumstances in that one when Liverpool won by 17 points. All the ones that Liverpool were close, 1, they were the chaser, 2, they lost.
I think we get caught up in the hoodoo of history FC sometimes, and so, like, for example, we talk about Real Madrid. They are Real Madrid, but I mean they are very, very beatable in modern times. Bayern Munich, we look at them and we saw the hoodoo, and look at them. I think we have to sometimes see what's in front of us right now. So this is where I agree with X about, on paper, the run-in for Liverpool looks more favorable than anybody else's. But I agree with your point that they've never been chased, right? And when they were chased in this part of the season, they've been caught twice. So it's and again, they've been super inconsistent because we're looking at Liverpool, and we can understand if they were like washing everybody, but the teams they've washed are like garbage teams. When they have to play like legitimate teams, it's been tough for them. And so, and now with the business end, because this is about money, right? So you got players who are playing again for teams that might get relegated. Positions in the table affect the team's money, which affects re-ups for salaries and extensions. So these guys are playing because they're trying to go to other clubs. So I expect guys to play very, very well in the next couple of games. Do I expect Liverpool to step up to it? Yes, but I think the same way they were shocked in whatever game that was they lost in the farewell tour is the same way that'll
The
happen.
United final game.
The United quarterfinal? Is that what you're talking about?
Final game.
Right. And think about it. Like, let's be honest. If we look at United, we know 1,000% United is not better than Liverpool. At this level, Liverpool, we know they're not better than them. So if they acquiesce to a team like that, what makes you think that can't happen again? And so, and I'm saying that happens for City, that happens for Arsenal. I mean, and then we've also not factored in injuries, right? Because Salah did just come back, but you can have injuries. Ake got hurt in the City game. Saka went off.
Stones was out.
Saka went off early, and they said it was fatigue, even though that sounds like a strange thing to come off.
I heard he's playing with an Achilles thing. That he's playing through it.
Right. So if we're looking at that, there's guys that are just, I mean, this is the end of the season where guys are playing hurt. De Bruyne last year going into the
like
run,
half the season.
Not even to think about. In the Champions League final, he couldn't go anymore. It was like the leg just blew up.
It's just gone.
And so you got to think that Salah's fully healthy, which I don't think he is. And, Trent's missing. Van Dijk
Jota, Alisson.
I just think there's a lot of things that are in play. So even on paper, if it does look right, and I agree with you, X. I just think there's too many external factors to play in this sort of run-in. Because the other thing that we have to account for is they play in Europa League, and they're clearly going to try.
Yeah,
they're going to try to win that. So if they're going to try to win that, you don't think playing on a Thursday is not going to tax them going into a Sunday game? And so I just think there's different things, because in those Europa League games, those, even though the quality of the teams might not be great, those guys are coming in. They're coming in hard and tackles.
Except when it's AC Milan, Bayer Leverkusen.
But even then, if you're looking at it, those guys, I'm saying these teams are going to come in hard at them. So it's not like they're going to be able to walk. There's no days off. Like, I mean, even if you have a sort of a soft league game, Europe is not soft. I mean, I guess the easiest answer for them is to go out early so then they can focus on the league. But what team does that this late in the stage? You don't do that.
Definitely not.
You're trying to win. And so if you're going to try to win, so are we playing Salah, who's just come back? Or are we playing Salah 3 days a week?
Yeah. Fair enough. It's the same thing with Jesus. I don't think his knee can handle 3 games this week.
I think he's not playing 3 games a week.
No way. I don't think he should play versus Luton. I think he should rest so we can play him at Brighton, and then, or maybe rest that because, Bayern is Tuesday, is a week from tomorrow,
that's all their focus is. Their whole focus.
Right. Exactly. We were saying that earlier.
Focus is now.
TT came out and said the league is done. So he's focused on champs, on Arsenal for 100%. Sure. Absolutely. But yeah, man,
he's good at Champions League. He's really
good. He is. He's won it. It's gonna be an awesome run in. I'm absolutely pumped. I think each week gonna be on the edge of my seat for every single game, praying to the football gods that Liverpool drop. All we need is one, man. They only gotta drop. They don't even need to lose. They draw one time. And we're back on top. And I think that going into this week, it's going to be huge because Liverpool have Sheffield at home, and we'll get to predictions, but that could be 9. So our goal difference advantage could vanish this week. It could vanish tomorrow.
Salah hits hat-trick.
We've seen what this pool team has done. They hit 9 on Bournemouth last season, if y'all don't forget, to get Scotty Parker out of a job, if you remember that. When the Bournemouth players weren't good enough and 9-0, so this team could evaporate that lead in, this week. And so Arsenal need to smash Luton, so that we can maintain that pace. But yeah, it's going to be an epic run-in. I'm absolutely excited about it. So guys, it's been a good pod so far, right? Been a pretty good episode, I think. I'm feeling like maybe we're up 1-0. Hey, we might even be up a man right now. Pod's been doing so good. It's about halftime. It's about halftime in the pod, and I think that in honor of the greatest manager to ever give halftime speeches, I'm going to have to. I've prepared something in honor of Mauricio Pochettino and his wonderful halftime speeches. This is in his honor. Here it is. This is my halftime speech for you guys. Hippity bippity, boppity bop. Go win.
Took you
in the world does he say to this team at halftime? Because that was a disgrace.
Oh, can I get my Happy Gilmore halftime talk? So we're in front of the goal, and we walk everybody over there, and we say, kick the ball in there. Kick it in there. This is your home. This is your home.
Just tap it in.
Tap, tap, tap. In honor of Chubbs.
Oh, yeah. R.I.P. Chubbs.
Well,
Oh my goodness! No, I'm really wondering what does Poch say at halftime?
What's actually said?
No say.
It's this right here, because he said it in the presser. It's, look, guys, I need you to draw this game. That way, it's so dramatic when we qualify that we can actually justify raising our ticket prices because we had such a dramatic finish to the season. So I need you to go get a draw for me. That way they don't burn the whole place down. Like, it just makes no absolute sense how you tie this game. Unless he literally said, go tie the game. Our defense completely switched. They should have won this game. They hit the crossbar in the dying embers of this game.
Hey, Cole Palmer's good.
Cole Palmer's the only reason.
I actually have something to say on him, by the way.
Cole Palmer's good.
Yeah, I can't even if Cole Palmer would have stayed at City, they might have scored more goals against Arsenal, and Chelsea would be just in the dumps. Oh, did you notice how I got that in there? Yeah. He's the only one to score against Arsenal this season so far for City.
It just makes no absolute sense.
Just want to throw that in there.
Oh, and another City stat, getting off our back. Did I hear this right? City have yet to win against the top 5 this season.
Well, United were in the top 5 when they did that, but when they beat Etihad.
Drawn everyone else.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I said that
It's
earlier.
great.
Yeah. So
and they lost to Villa and Arsenal, both 1-0.
So I mean, anyway, don't want to get off this subject. I just wanted to make sure I heard that one right. This is absolutely a disgrace. And you know what? It's not even better. And I mean, I think it is slightly. I just actually shared this on my page. I think he's actually on par with Graham Potter now. Again.
1 point.
1 point. There it is. 1 point.
1 point.
April to April, 1 point. But we're more points. But we're more points off of Europe than we were with Potter because everyone else is doing better.
You improved.
We
by one.
We improved by one.
At this point in the season, we are 1 point better than we were last season.
But we're technically not doing as well because everyone else is doing better. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Liverpool's doing better.
Yeah.
United are not doing better.
No, they're not. Yeah, so there's that for us.
Too.
but hey, our season starts now. You know, I mean, if we go back to the presser, our season starts now.
What do you mean? Y'all on the beach. You've got 40.
Nah, man. This is what he said. That's what he said, man. Our season starts now. We're going to show up. We're going to make Europe because it starts now. Our season starts now.
He said you're going to make Europe?
Yeah, because our season starts now. I think he missed 20 games, but that's not – I don't even think he knows what league he's playing in because our season starts now is what he said in the presser.
Was he drunk?
I hope so. Season starts now, boys. You heard the man.
I really think he's trying to get canned. Like he's doing his best to catch the $60 million buyout that Potter got.
No, because his isn't that deep. He's got he was
he's got a $5 million buyout.
$5 million.
Yeah, his
you have to pay us. You have to pay us to get out of the contract.
Yeah, he didn't get that one. Potter's agent's way
his
better.
Agent is a masterclass from the agent.
Well, we paid that English tax for Potter, so you know.
Yeah.
Bro, I'll never understand it. I don't know what he says. I don't understand how you can be down a man, no coach, and we lost this game. We lost this game.
I mean, it was a dubious red card to begin with. Like, yes, that's a
ball never. I mean,
well, I think it's clumsy defending. He's playing the player and not the ball.
That's fair. I'll give you that.
And I think that's what the official was pointing out. I don't think it's the tackle. It's you played the defender, and instead of going to play the ball, and so you're denying an opportunity in the box by taking down the attacker instead of actually going and play the ball. I think if he goes and plays the ball and lets Mudryk go, there's no foul, there's nothing called, and he's still on the pitch. But to be honest with you, he did the same thing in the middle of the pitch when Mudryk got away from him, pulled him right back. Did the same thing in the box. So I understand people are like, oh, it's soft, it's this, it's that. Cool, not a problem. But he already did it once. He was asking for it. He should have been smarter and be like, oh, that ball's over there. Mudryk's right here. I don't need to touch him.
Yeah. That's fair.
So,
call Palmer. Beautiful game, bro. I feel so.
Actually,
bad.
I disagree.
I would be so. No,
I disagree. It was a beautiful game from him.
I'd be so upset, bro. I scored 2 goals, and are you kidding me? And this is the defensive showing you want to give me?
Well, why was Palmer not good?
He did his job. He did his job.
Because he was not facilitating to Jackson. There were 2 instances in the first half where if he plays a square ball to Jackson, it's a tap in.
No.
Instead, he's blasting it, not even at the keeper. It's not even on goal. And, I applaud him for the 2 goals. Hey, I have him captain in fantasy, so woo. But I'm also like, bro, you got a little too selfish there. And if you go back and you watch, Jackson gives him a couple looks like, bro, I can score that. Why are you taking that shot? Again,
Rightly so.
You know, I thought,
do we trust Action Jackson though, man? Like, I've seen some of the wide open shots old Jackson's been taking. Does
I mean, these
Palmer
are tap-ins. Like, if he missed, it would have been worse than Lukaku.
It can get worse than Lukaku.
I mean,
I don't know. I watched Lukaku play today in the Roma game.
That bad, huh?
That bad.
Yeah, well, they played Lecce, who's beaten Roma twice in their entire history, and it was not pretty. It was not
we're
great.
Try to sell him again this summer. So if anybody wants him, hey.
Lecce might need him.
Yeah, we'll give you we'll sell him for like 30 and a bag of balls, in
a lollipop.
But no, so want to point out, first off, if you still are on Twitter, go follow Rob at journalism_RP. He's fantastic. I've been following him for a little bit now, and he broke it down. These are games where Chelsea had a halftime lead. And either
if it's second half, not to cut you off, it's second half stats alone, we're in 18th place.
Yeah, y'all are in relegation in second half stats.
West Ham away 1-1 halftime, lost 3-1. Arsenal at home 1-0, drew 2-2. Man City at home 2-1, drew 4-4. Manchester United on the road 1-1 halftime, lost 2-1. Man City away 1-0 halftime lead, drew 1-1. Brentford, these are the ones that more are matter to me because City, Arsenal, that kind of stuff. Okay, I understand it. That's a good team. Brentford, 1-0 halftime, drew 2-2. Burnley, 1-0 halftime, drew 2-2. That's 4 points right there. Okay, first off, that's 4 points. We're 8 points off of Europe. So you get those 4 points back, right? Games where we have conceded in the 45th to 60th minute after a halftime talk. Nottingham Forest at home, West Ham, Brentford, West Ham away, Brentford at home, Man City at home, Newcastle away, Everton away, Wolves away, Leeds United home, Brentford away, Leicester
Leeds
home,
United. Oh, that's the FA Cup game. Yeah.
And Burnley at home.
Damn.
Set pieces are an absolute tragedy. We've conceded from set pieces against West Ham, Brentford, Man City, Newcastle, Man United, Everton, Wolves, Liverpool, and Burnley.
That's half the league.
Yeah.
If we had gotten the 17 points that we had at one point, we would have been in fifth with 2 games in hand.
Damn.
So,
capitalization, man.
So when Pochettino says, well, the data says we're a top 4 team. Great. Data's fantastic. You can manipulate it how you want to. The results say this, though. You are a terrible in-game manager. You are a terrible manager in the second half. And until that changes, you need to be gone. You need to be gone today. You need to be gone yesterday. I don't usually call for managers or coaches' heads. I'm actually probably loyal to a fault.
Yeah, we let X do that.
My thing is you represent the team or club that I follow, and I give you the respect to say, you know what, you have your chance.
Clowns.
But when it continues to happen over and over and over again, and let's not even throw in that Chelsea is about to concede the most goals in league since 1994.
Clowns.
I was 9 years old, y'all.
Clowns.
Something's got to give.
I mean, I get it, bro. Our back line looks like Swiss cheese, and we got Father Time back there on a battery-powered wheelchair. I get it.
Well, you got Fox in the box scoring for you and against you.
Yeah, well, but I'm with Patrick, man. I've been Posh out for months.
I've been for the last month and a half for sure.
Months.
Yeah,
I've been
since
talking
the
about-
since the Liverpool game, Patrick.
I was done.
That was the icing on the cake.
You set the team up to fail in that game. I'm sorry, you did.
I wanted to bring in Mal for the final.
What's he?
One game?
No, I'm talking about the Liverpool game at Anfield. I'm not even talking about.
I was talking about the cup. I wasn't bringing up the misery of Anfield.
No, he set up the team to fail, and I'm sorry. If you can't.
Do you think the player, like, honestly, man, do you think the players want him out? Like, they don't.
That's not what's been in the media.
That's not what's been in the media at all.
Yeah, the media said they back him. That they.
You can't play a second half like this and back your man, like actually want to play for the dude who's going out there, unless he absolutely bamboozles the tactics. Like,
did you hear what he said to Sky? I watched an interview where he was talking about they didn't have heart. They weren't really playing for the shirt. Of course, he speaks awful English, and so it's like sometimes difficult to pick out what he's saying. But the post match interview I watched was scathing. Like he was not.
No.
Yeah, he was talking about effort and heart.
I thought Gallagher was horrible in this game.
Yeah,
he was awful. I thought Gusto was fine till he got injured. Mudryk was fine. He had some horrible shots, mind you, but I thought he was fine.
Sterling, at least he shoots.
Yeah. I mean, he shoots it like 20 rows up, but
I'm okay with that. Better than dribbling it like a little T-Rex running around like you can't pass or shoot the ball. Selfish little bro. I hate
the thing is that Raheem Sterling could have won this game, and he blew it.
Always.
Yeah, but what else is new? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, always.
I mean that's. But I will give him this. I just watched the Bayern highlights, and I just watched Harry Kane miss 2 sitters with his head. So I'm like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be so tough on old Raheem. I thought Caicedo was good. He got taken off, and it just kind of went to pot again. And I think that's the thing that frustrates me. Like, should we have given up the first goal? No. I think Petrovic should have a better chance at saving that. But I'll give him props. It was a solid goal. It was pretty good actually. One of those quirky, guy hits, a Galazzo because he never does, but when he plays Chelsea.
Everyone hits Galazzos against Chelsea.
Exactly. The second goal, though, was disturbing.
Oh, that was a disgrace.
It felt like...
That was Rob Green.
You even saw it on the sideline with Pochettino. He acted like the game was won. Like, bro, there's 10 minutes plus extra time. Like, have you watched this defense? Have we watched the defense that you put out week after week after week?
It's 10 men, no coach, man.
Huh?
Bro, if we lost this game,
he didn't have a coach in the second half. Company was in the parking lot.
No coach. If we lost this game when I was playing for
he's streaming the game on his phone. He's in the parking lot.
Bro, if we would have lost this game for any team other than when we played for Brady, you know how many laps we would be running? Do you know the amount of physical exertion our coach would have bestowed upon us for this embarrassment? You lost to 10 men, bottom of the league, no coach. No excuse. There's no... Unless you wanted to lose, there's just no excuse for me.
Okay, so all right, I get what you're saying there. And I do think players should take responsibility. But when they went down to 10 men, did you think we were going to score again?
No, I felt that the whole team was like, yeah, no, we're coasting. We're good.
No, I don't even think it was that. I know how we are against a low block.
Yeah, that's true.
I was actually upset. I mean, it was great that we got a goal out of it, but I was upset because I'm like, the game's not going to be open now. And I fully expect them to hit us on a counter, especially after he took Caicedo off.
The end game, man. Right. It's the end game, man, bro.
So that's my point. like you can be frustrated with players, and I am. Don't get me wrong. There should have been 4 goals in this one for Chelsea. There really should have. But I also look at it as this man has not figured out how to set us up to win against teams that are going to play a low block. And you know what? Maybe it's the hardest thing in the world. And I go back to the Arsenal City game. There was no space in the box. So I get why City didn't score. But that's also talent in play. And no offense to Burnley, but what I watched from Burnley just reemphasized to me why they were bottom of the table and why they stay bottom of the table. Because defensively, they're terrible. Muric, or whatever his name, I mean, he played a fantastic game.
Goalkeeper,
He had a bunch of shots at him, but he also made some great saves. That's the formula against us. Get your keeper to have some great saves and frustrate us and play a low block, and you just hit us on the counter and you're good. And that to me comes down to coaching. Because there's not enough, not only confidence, but actual tactical decision making to be able to beat it. Now, if City comes out on a low block, Arsenal comes out on a low block, hey, that's different. They have the talent. They have the ability to squash you. Burnley, Brentford. No offense to Brentford. I love Brentford. You go down the list, and it's like, why can't you figure this out? It's not like it's some new thing. Chelsea had 33 shots. 33.
Yep.
And you get 1 goal from open play.
Yep.
Yeah, that silence right there says it all. That awkward silence right there after that statement, that says it all, man. And honestly, I know y'all are in such financial
our
straits.
season starts now, bro. Don't stress.
Yeah, all right, there you go. You heard it here. Season starts now. Pochettino's about to be a rock star. He's about to come up with the win one for the Gipper halftime speech. Extraordinary.
30 points we have left in the season.
27 points left to get. He's gonna get them all. Because he's, no, it's going to be more shambles, and
if you can get 10, I'll be happy.
You've made 40. You're saying you're not getting relegated. That's all that matters.
Well, unless all of a sudden they pop up with a point deduction.
Yeah, right.
No, that won't come till next season.
Just ban us, bro.
It won't come till next season.
Something today that it'll be more than 10 points.
Yeah. Look, everyone's facing point deductions. Oh wait, no, that was an April Fool's joke. Never mind. I saw so many crazy things on Instagram today. I saw so many crazy things on Instagram.
Oh yeah, don't trust anything today.
You can't go on the internet today.
No.
What I read was from Saturday, where there was talks of it's going to be at least 10 points. Yeah,
man. Unfortunately, I don't think that. I think you're in a bit of a situation that you can't do anything about, because the financial situation isn't going to let you change anything. You can't just pay off Pochettino. You don't have that money. You're in the hole. Bro, you got to go the other way.
We have a get out of jail free card. No one wants to play it, but we do.
What's that?
We should have played it last season, but we didn't, to avoid all of this. Reece James, I'm sorry. You're gone if you're me. If you're me.
Combo sale, Reece James and Conor Gallagher. It's lots of profit.
How? I get it. He's a phenomenal talent. He is Chelsea through and through. We've sold Chelsea through and through. That's not the litmus test anymore. He is not healthy. He will not be healthy. He will not stay healthy. We cannot play him for he has not played an entire season since his genesis as
so you expect to get lots of money for him when the other teams know that same thing?
They're stupid enough to give us, like Real Madrid did last year, $100 million offer. I'm taking it immediately to the bank. Gone.
We won't get that.
Gone. 60. Gone.
No,
immediately.
Not for 60.
He's not healthy.
Think about it.
He's not healthy ever. He hurts us more than he helps, man.
Right.
He hurts
I get
us more
that.
than he helps.
But think about it.
He's our captain. We can't even play him.
We haven't played him the rest of the season so that we could get him 100% healthy. He's had this surgery on his hamstring so that it will fix it. So now you're going to say, all right, I mean, it's sort of like the whole Mason Mount thing. You know, Mason Mount was hurt all season long. And I was pissed when he's like, yeah, I'm leaving for United. Because it's like, oh, so we finally give you the surgery that you've been clamoring for, and you get that surgery, and you're rehabbing, and you're out the door.
Yeah, because I'm not sitting beside Raheem Sterling, who's making $300 grand, and you won't up me to 280. You won't up me to 280, who scores goals, who gives assists. Meanwhile, Raheem Sterling's making 330, sitting next to me, scoring 7 goals in the league. I'm out too. That's disrespectful to anyone else on that squad. That
fair enough.
Is disrespectful.
I think it just points to the craziness that goes on behind the scenes at Chelsea, and unfortunately,
is in shambles.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't see it changing any time.
We got Clown Lake
soon.
Central, bro. Clown Lake Central for the next 100 years.
Unfortunately,
I heard that Osman's now going to PSG. So.
I would too.
Bud. He don't want no part of it. He don't want no part of it.
Bud.
No parts.
No hard feelings.
No parts. Absolutely.
No hard feelings.
Doesn't want any parts of it.
Roman built this city, and we're just here to burn in it. That's all.
There you go. Absolutely. Well, speaking of burning down, there was some crazy games at the weekend. I'd like to start with making fun of Manchester United because I enjoy doing that a lot. You know, they're awful, man. Terrible performance at Brentford, and because I had money on them, in the betting app. So I was like hoping that they would win, but it was a typical Man United performance, and all of this BS about, oh, Man U doesn't have a style of play, Man U doesn't know what style of play, Ten Hag doesn't have a style of play. Yes, he does. He absolutely does. It's sit and counter, and it's frustrate, and it's be nasty, and it's just make every single game one of those days for the other team. Man United have given up more shots than any team in the league, bar Burnley and Sheffield. Let that sink in. I'll say it again. Man United have given up more shots in the league than any team other than Burnley and Sheffield. And somehow they don't get scored on as much as they should. Brentford, had like 20-something odd shots, and Man U still could have won this at the end of the game. And I knew because that's what Man U do. They Fergie timed their way through this entire season, man. And that is Ten Hag's style.
Yep.
It's to BS Jamie Tart his way through games and piss everyone off by scoring a goal in the 93rd minute and save and relying on Scotty McTominay to save his bacon every single game. And that's exactly what went down in this one. And they thought they'd done it. But of course, they bottled it in the end, and Brentford, who deserved to win the game, ended up not losing. So it was good for them. Definitely good for them. Yeah, but United are trash, man, and we're going to get to it in just a hot second. They are facing another trash team. It's the Mud Bowl on Thursday. We'll get to that in just a second, though. I thought that the West Ham and Newcastle game was absolute nuts. Absolutely crazy. West Ham didn't bother to come out in the second half. We're not as good. We're not as at it as far as the counterattack in the second half. And ended up losing it. Harvey Barnes, hell of a cameo, comes on for 2 goals. Excellent finish for the winner. So credit Newcastle. St. James Park, still tough. I thought that Sheffield United scoring 3 goals, that's new.
They were up 3-1.
I couldn't believe it. And they absolute bottle jobs, man. How it was 4-1. It was 4-1 in the 82nd minute. And they had it chalked off because of it was offsides.
Oh.
But still 82nd minute, and you're getting a fourth goal chalked off, and you somehow don't win the game.
Well, I gotta say that third goal for Fulham was
Muniz,
nice.
bro. Hell of a goal. Fulham should not have messed around and needed a worldie to get a point, even away at Sheffield. Sheffield are garbage, and that's a disappointment from Fulham. But they managed to not lose in the end. Yeah, man, there was some Bournemouth picked up some good points at home to Everton with a late winner. Let's see what else was interesting. There were definitely some good ones. But
you had Forrest getting a goal against Palace in the 70th, I want to say. That honestly probably shouldn't have been a goal. It was just one of those loopers where it's like he didn't know where it was going.
Yeah, man. Palace can't manage to win a game, dude.
Nope.
Forest are struggling as well. They're up against it, man. They're definitely up against it. Another one I wanted to look at, Luton Town scoring in the 3rd minute and not managing to beat Spurs. What are you doing, Luton?
We have to point out though the Werner miss.
Why? Because that's what Timo Werner does. That's par for the course for Timo.
You know what? Actually, all y'all want to talk about Tottenham in these last run-ins, bro. No, that's what Timo is sent to do. Timo's the plant to just absolutely.
Y'all got plants all over the place, man.
The Tottenham run-in.
Y'all got plants all over the place, and then it takes an own goal. It takes an own goal for Spurs to get it over the line. I thought Basuma was not doing much at all. Madison was having to come so far back to progress the ball. It was, they were not at their best, that's for sure. And it's kind of gross that they managed to get it over the line. You know, you hate to see that. Aston Villa get a good win against Wolverhampton Wanderers. I mean, Villa weren't great, but Wolves didn't really show up.
Yeah.
And, and Villa were able to – Wolves are kind of stumbling a little bit, and Villa were able to get up an important 3 points that got them back into 4th place. Definitely very important. Let's see. I think that's all for the match week just gone by. Yep. And we will go ahead and transition into the next matchups. I actually haven't even done my predictions.
Oh, we got predictions. Shoot.
Yeah, we got predictions. We'll go ahead and speed through them. We'll start with the big one. Man City hosting Aston Villa. Lewis, what you telling me? We'll do a quick little preview, and then we'll get a prediction.
Well, they play in 2 days, and I think it's a big deal because it's at home. City has been good at home. I think they'll feel focused on wanting to get all 3 points for this game. So I think they will focus a little bit better than they have. And I think Haaland has a good game this game because I think the pressure is going to start to get to him. I actually, even though it shows Villa is unbeaten in 8 away games, I think City wins because Ortega, I think, is still between the sticks. He's good. Ortega's been very good. I think City win 2-0.
Do we switch it up at all? Any personnel formation change, anything like that?
Nope. I mean, you got injuries there, and I think the lineup. I think Alvarez plays because Alvarez didn't play in the last game. I don't know if he starts, but I know.
Have you heard anything about Ake?
No, I haven't seen anything. He's not on the injury list that I'm looking at. So, it looked like it was like something in his calf. So I'm not really sure what that was. But I think he'll probably let him sit this one out.
Yeah.
Because Gvardiol played really well. He was very impressive. And Stones probably...
He was on the bench, so he might be back.
Yeah, so I think we're fine. We're fine.
Yeah.
2-0.
2-0. No.
There's some spicy fixtures. My goodness.
I think that Villa struggle away from home. I think they'll probably play even more defensive than normal, but of course, Highline for life. So it'll be an interesting, it'll be an interesting, battle in that midfield. Second balls are going to be huge in this game when you play a high line like that. You can't let that second ball come down for Holland to run in behind. I think Man City figuring out that runners from deep are going to break the high line is how you get the likes of Foden and Doku in behind when he comes in. If Grealish comes in, he doesn't really do the run in behind thing, but I think because Villa play the line so high, I think that will be something Pep will certainly consider. Yeah, City at home, going to be tough for Villa. 2-1 to the Citizens. What you thinking, X?
2-0.
2-0? Sure.
I think they come back with a vengeance. I think they defensively hold their own. Yeah, I think they get their scoring boots back. I don't know. I just see them 2-0 commanding.
There you go. 2-0. What you saying, Patrick?
I'm going to go 3-0, actually.
All this hype about Holland. I mean, they're poking the bear, bro. Every time Holland has a bad game, they poke the bear. He gets upset, and then he just bangs one in.
They start talking. Everybody starts talking trash. Holland ain't that.
Holland ain't that. He's second league player. And then,
he's a League Two player.
Now he's gonna bang a Hattie on Villa.
Emi Martinez is looking at Roy Keane like, really, bro? Really?
Why you gotta do that? Bro?
Why you gotta say that? Why you gotta say that right before the game?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yep. I wanted to go ahead and pop this up while we're here in the predictions section. We'll get a little update on the predictions league. Patrick's still at the top of 315. My man Nez on 308 in second. I'm in third, 298, and X down there on 270.
Catching up.
Something like that. Yes. Next up, the Arsenal hosting Luton Town. I think it's a very important one for Arsenal to keep the momentum. Excess 3-0. I actually am going to echo that. That was my prediction as well. I think we need to do it. I think Luton are not as strong away from home as they are at home. It will be, it won't be like a super easy 3-0. It might be one of those, it's 1-0 late on, and then, we kind of
floodgate.
Kind of get a couple at the end to make it a bit of a misleading scoreline. I think that one of Raya's best qualities is dealing with the crosses, dealing with the balls coming into the box in the air, and that is bread and butter for Luton Town. So I think Willie Saliba, Gabriel, and the likes of them will have to be big again on the crosses coming into the box against the ball. And I think that we just need to, exploit the spaces I know we can create. And I think that I don't want to see Jesus. I think we can put Trossard in. I think Saka should get a rest as well. So Trossard, Havertz, and Martinelli, I think, would be the way it ended. The way the game ended versus City, I think I'd be fine. I wouldn't actually mind seeing Partey start this one, get him nice 60 minutes, but I think we're definitely going to have to pay attention to Ross Barkley. Going to have to shut him down. He's, one of their main players. So I definitely think winning the second balls again, first Luton, who like to those big switches, those big diagonals. We have to win the battle in this midfield and shut Ross Barkley down. But I think we'll do that at home. Yeah, I think it'll be just fine. 3-0, back to winning ways. What was saying, Lewis?
I was looking at it. I was already going with 4-0, but then I looked at it, and then I'm sticking with 4-0.
Yeah. Good deal. Anything to add, or Arsenal are dominant?
I don't see how they have anything for Arsenal. 4-0.
Love to hear it. What you saying, Patrick?
I'm going to go 3-1.
Okay.
Not a shutout, eh?
I think, and I hope you don't take offense to that. I think
David Raya's got the most clean sheets in the league. Just saying.
I think that there's a little bit of a letdown after having to be so strong defensively. You kind of lean back just a little bit. And I think that, Luton gets one, but the game's never in doubt.
Fair enough. I hope you're wrong. I hope we know that, there is no let up in this title race. And I hope that doesn't creep in. We've seen those kinds of things with this Arsenal team before. But as I said in the Arsenal segment, we are improving on such things little by little by little. We've all gone for Arsenal wins. I definitely love to see that. And of course, the Mud Bowl. The Mud Brothers going at it. And I want to go ahead and say, X, it's my 0-0 of the week written all over it. No, that is my prediction. 0-0 straight up. If it's not 0-0, it's 1-1. It's going to be a drab tie, a drab draw at the bridge. Pochettino's going to say something crazy at halftime, thinks he knows what Ten Hag's doing. It's not going to work out, and it's just going to peter out. There's not going to be much going on in this one.
See, I got us going.
Am I wrong? I
got us going 2-1, man.
2-1.
Because we're back to our winning ways.
Is that hopium? Is it? Oh, no, it's the season starts here.
Back to our winning ways.
The season starts here, baby.
Against one of our biggest rivals. We need to make Europe. Season starts now. I hate him so much. I'm so
Oh, God. We need to get you a Pot Stinks. Get your Potter Stinks pin that I got you and just put some tape over it and write on it Pot Stinks.
Just get the white med tape right
here. Yeah, get it on your hat until Poch is out. Yeah.
Oh, I might.
So it's definite hopium saying 2-1 here.
No, it's 2-1.
All right. Okay. What'd you say, Patrick?
Chelsea has given up 2 goals in the last 5 matches per match. This is, though, a team that I expect us to be up for. I am going to give United 2, but I'm going to give Chelsea 3. So 3-2 Chelsea.
A barnstormer. Hey, great for the neutral. As long as you expect the Mud Bowl. I expect the Mud Bowl to be just that, muddy. So if it turns out it's a 3-2, be a hell of a game. What you saying, Lewis?
I was going with 3-3 because United is undefeated in the last 7 games against Chelsea, 2 wins, 5 draws. And I think
why so high scoring?
I just think that both teams are just going to go for it. They're like, it's the end of the season, and I think just everybody knows they're playing for their job, so they're auditioning for other people.
Woof. Fair enough. Yeah. Well, there you go. Y'all think it's going to be exciting. I don't. Hopefully, for y'all's sake, Chelsea can.
Season starts now, man.
Season started now, so hopefully your season gets started off with a bang, with a nice win.
One game.
Here in week 31.
1 game, 3 points.
Here in match week 31 as the season gets started for Chelsea.
I would sack you based on you saying that.
Right? How many times can you say that? He said that? Now. Fired.
Season started now, bro. You're 30 games. Oh my God. We lost the cup. How did our season start now?
Oh my goodness gracious. It's just lovely stuff. Speaking of copium, Liverpool are playing Sheffield.
Easy.
And it's a bloodbath. It's at Anfield. I honestly fear for Sheffield. Like, the only way this is an 8-0 is if Liverpool show up the way they did at Old Trafford with just supreme arrogance, 100%. It don't matter. We're gonna win. We're Liverpool. This is Anfield. It doesn't matter. These guys suck. We're absolutely going to destroy them. This is the attitude that and even with this attitude, 4-0.
4-0. Easy.
My prediction is 4-0.
I'm going 5. I think that Not that he'd had to rally the troops prior, but now that they're on top, he's going to really get them.
Well, it's an opportunity to make up the goal difference.
How many did Poole put on United though before it was the? Was it 8?
It was 7-0.
7. I'll go 7-0.
7. Yeah, this is a chance for Liverpool to make up the goal difference, and they know that. Klopp knows that. Chris Wilder knows that, so he's like, "Oh God." What you saying, Lewis?
Say goodbye to the league, there, guys.
I only got 2-0. And my reason I have 2-0 is because I think they're going to focus on the longer term. So they're going to play their guys, get their 2 goals, and then they're just going to sit on it.
Yeah.
I think even the youngsters could come in and absolutely smash 7.
They probably will. Klopp's kids probably will. It'll be the JV team, right? It'll be like back in high school when you were playing some scrub like Military Magnet, and so you brought the entire squad, varsity and JV,
You're
and
they're taping med tape numbers on the back.
Yeah, in the 31st minute, you're exchanging jerseys because it's 8-0, and now the JV team is going to come in and put another 8 goals in for a 20-0 final score.
Should just not have a soccer program at that point, there, guys.
Football guys normally there's the half the baseball team and half the football team put together makes the soccer team for some reason.
But as much as we would punish them on the soccer field when we played them in baseball, it was
wrecked.
It was wrecked. Like, y'all thought. Yeah, watch this.
Here you go.
Wait till
come play us at our game, and then we'll talk.
Baseball season.
Yeah, absolutely was. But yeah, man, it's going to be disgusting. I think from a Sheffield point of view, it's not going to be fun. Anfield's not fun for anyone, and they're the worst team I've seen in some time. All right. Next up, Brentford versus Brighton. I need spell check on my.
Oh, that can be right.
No, that's harsh. Oh my goodness. Brentford are just wrecked by injuries, man. Plagued with injuries.
They were Swiss cheese.
Okay, that's fair.
Everyone's Swiss cheese.
But they don't have Ethan Pinnock or Ben Mee, like the most.
Scored the winning goal the other night or the other day.
No, he didn't. He's been on the sideline for months, bro, for like a month.
Are you sure?
No.
Yeah, man, he's out for the season, man.
He's out for the season, bro.
What did I see that said he scored?
They lied. He's been out.
Maybe on FIFA.
He's been out for 3 games, and he won't be back.
He's repping the squad on the FIFA U team.
Yeah, no.
Why did what?
I don't know.
Never mind.
But it's Brighton. It's Brighton at the G Tech.
It'll be a good game.
You just never know with Brighton. You don't know what Brighton's going to show up. You know, Tony's good for 1. Man, I just don't know what Brighton is going to show up, man. I know they've got it in them. I know they've got goals. Brentford do not defend well, and they crumble. I'm going 2-1 Brighton.
That's what I'm going with too.
I'm gonna go 2-1 Bees, bro.
2-1 to the Bees. Yep.
3-2 Brighton.
What? Wow.
Yeah.
All the trust. I don't trust Brighton. I don't trust.
It's not that we don't trust Brighton.
Brighton's my palace.
It's that Brentford are terrible.
That's okay. Brighton's my palace. Every time.
Okay.
Every time I back. I'm actually, you know what? I refuse to back Brighton because they gave us the plague that is or was.
Yeah, because your owners should have just bought Brighton instead.
Brighton, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Ooh, London Derby, West Ham hosting the Tottenham Hotspurs at the London Stadium. That's an interesting one, man. West Ham they've played a lot better since we wrecked them 6-0. They put up a show away from home at St. James's Park.
Just to get their heart ripped out.
This could be a good one. 2-2.
Yeah, I'll go 2-2 as well. I think that I saw Mikel Antonio's back.
Yep.
So,
he's been in a couple of games. He's looked good.
Yeah.
I like Mikel Antonio. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
Despite his mouth.
and playing for Jamaica. But yeah, I think 2-2 is actually a really good pick. So that's what I'm rolling with too.
What you got, Lewis?
4-2 Spurs.
Ooh.
I'm right behind him at 3-2 Spurs.
Barnstormer.
I'm right behind him at 3-2 Spurs.
3-2 to the.
The turnarounds are so quick. This just leads to goals.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Absolutely. Let's see. There won't be goals there. There might be goals in Burnley Wolves.
Mm-hmm.
Some nice open play. Looking for Burnley to bounce back. Company in the stands. No, I didn't think so either. Wolves 2-1.
Oh, you took it.
Yeah, you saying the same?
Wolves 2-0.
Oh. Okay.
Burnley will have their goal scorer back, so
They will have Fofana.
So I'm gonna go 3-1 Wolves.
Absolutely. What you saying, Lewis?
2-2.
Yeah. Still flying the company flag, eh?
No, I think Wolves are really inconsistent, and because they're
They
inconsistent,
are.
and Burnley is going to score because they generally score at home, I think it'll be 2-2.
Yeah, there you go. A pretty important game down near the bottom. Bournemouth hosting Palace. Ooh.
0-0 of the week, boys.
0-0 of the week, eh? Okay. I think Bournemouth tend to score at home.
Yep.
Palace,
Don't.
Eze's kind of carrying all of their hopes.
Palace don't.
Palace don't.
They just don't.
But they're an enigma as well. Like, I want to say they're bad, but they keep eking out results.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I still think Bournemouth can do this 2-1.
That's what I wanted to.
You're just copying me at this point?
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
If you'd asked me, I would have told you 2-1.
What you got, Lewis?
Well, Bournemouth and Crystal Palace haven't drawn in their last 8 matches. I expect a winner in this one as well. I think Bournemouth wins 1-0.
There you go. Write out the statisticians. Write out the statistics there. Forest hosting Fulham. Interesting game that will be. Forest are resolute at home, but they've struggled to score recently. Fulham have not struggled to score recently. That's tough to call, man.
I got 2-1 Fulham, just so you know.
I got Fulham bouncing back, yeah.
All right. 2-1 Fulham. What you saying next?
Said I got Fulham bouncing back.
Yeah? What's the score?
I'm gonna go 1-0.
1-0. That's not a bad shot, you know. I think that this might be a 1-1er.
I can see it.
Yeah. What you got, Lewis?
I got 2-0 Fulham because Forest haven't kept a clean sheet in 6 matches. They haven't won in 6 attempts. And Fulham have won the previous 3 matches versus Forest. 2-0 Fulham.
There you go. And last, but perhaps least, Everton travel to St. James's Park for a thrashing. Any hope for Everton, guys?
Nope.
Yeah, me neither.
None.
They might, Nika. No, they won't. 3-0 to the Toon.
That's what I went with.
Yeah.
2.
I just away up in the north. It's a crazy place to go. Newcastle looked good against West Ham. Everton will defend well, I think, for some time, but they'll crumble.
They're going to crumble for sure.
Yeah. What you think, Lewis?
I'm going to give my craziest scoreline ever.
Oh.
5-3.
5-3.
5-3.
Goals on goals on goals.
I mean, look, St. James has been host to some craziness this season. Chris Wood scored a hat trick, if you recall.
I do remember that.
Got 3 goals there for Forest. What was the other one? Yeah, just those 7 goals just last weekend. So I think, yeah, instant classic. He's calling a Premier League classic 5-3. What a game that will be. Yeah, I can't wait for that. Hopefully it is a 5-3 game. That will be incredible. But yeah, the Premier League continues to roll on. And one thing I did want to say before the end of the show, shout out to the Lady Gunners.
Yeah.
Beating the Chelsea women in the final.
8 in that final.
Yeah, and Emma Hayes, man. Did y'all see that?
Oh, yeah, she went a little berserk.
Lost it, bro. Whew, that was crazy. I didn't expect that from her. Didn't expect to see I saw these highlights and saw that at the end. I was just like, wow. But yeah, congrats to the Arsenal women lifting the Conte
Cup.
the Antonio Conte Cup.
Yep.
Wait a minute. That's not right. That's not right. No, but yeah, man, I'm excited. It's the run-in. It's here. We're in the midst of it, and we are running.
The season just started.
The season just started for some. The season just started for some. The season is getting to the business end for others, and yeah, we're here for it. We're absolutely here for it. We will be back on Thursday, of course, reviewing all of the action and previewing all of the weekend action because it just does not stop, and I could not be more excited. And if you're as excited as I am, go ahead and smash up the likes on the video. Of course, subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're grateful that you are here. We're grateful for you listening. And get those notification bell on as well so you know when all of the content is coming out. Again, we certainly appreciate you being here, and you will see us next time.